Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Speak English Podcast. I'm David, and today I'm here with the amazing Sarah.
Hey, David, and hello to all of you listening. I'm so excited about today's episode. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Me too. So, let me ask you this. How many of you feel like you're studying English for hours every day, but still not making the progress you want? It's frustrating, right?
It really is. And that's exactly why we're talking about how to learn smart, not hard. You don't need to work yourself into the ground to get better. You just need to work smarter.
That's right. In today's episode, we're going to show you practical ways to stop wasting time and focus on what actually helps you improve your English faster.
Trust me, once you start learning smart, you'll see results much quicker, and you'll feel a lot less stressed about it too.
Exactly. So, if you're ready to make learning English feel easier and more fun, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you don't miss any of our future episodes.
Let's dive into it. First things first, what does learning smart actually mean? And why is it so important to your English journey?
So, what does it mean to learn smart? Well, the key here is to focus on high-impact activities that give you the biggest return for your time and effort. Instead of trying to memorize endless vocabulary lists, you're choosing methods that actually improve your fluency by using language in a meaningful way.
Exactly. One of the smartest ways to learn is by practicing with real-life language, not just isolated words. For example, if you want to learn how to use a phrase, practice it in different contexts. This way, you're not just memorizing. It's about integrating the phrase into conversations you might have in daily life.
Another smart technique is to focus on repetition, but in a way that's interesting. Instead of repeating the same word over and over, try repeating phrases or sentences in different situations. This will help your brain remember the patterns and structures of the language, which is essential for fluency.
Right. And it's not about studying harder or for longer hours. It's about studying with intention. For instance, if you're learning how to give directions, don't just memorize the word turn. Learn the whole structure. Turn left at the corner, or turn right after the traffic light. This is more effective in the long run.
And let's talk about context. Learning words or phrases without understanding how they fit into the bigger picture won't get you far. A key part of learning smart is knowing when and how to use what you've learned. It's about finding opportunities to use new phrases in real situations rather than just practicing them in isolation.
Absolutely. When you learn smart, you're also reducing the mental effort of translating everything from your native language. Instead of thinking in your first language and then translating into English, you start to process ideas directly in English. This shift makes learning much smoother and more natural over time.
And a big part of learning smart is being strategic with your practice. For example, if you only have a few minutes each day, use that time to focus on something that will give you a noticeable improvement, like practicing common phrases or improving your listening skills, rather than overloading yourself with complex grammar rules.
So, to summarize, learning smart is about working efficiently, choosing the right techniques, and focusing on practical language use. It's not about how much time you spend. It's about making that time count in the most effective way possible.
Now let's break it down with a practical example. Imagine you're learning the phrase, "I'm looking forward to it." Instead of repeating it mindlessly over and over, let's apply it in different contexts. This will help you retain the phrase and also get used to using it in various situations.
Right. So, the first example could be, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Simple and relatable. It's a phrase you can use when talking about plans or something you're excited about. You can see how easily this fits into a real conversation, right?
Another one could be, I'm looking forward to meeting with my friends this evening. This time, it's more specific, showing how you can use the same phrase but in a different context. It's the same structure, but it sounds natural because it's adapted to your life.
Exactly. And here's another example. I'm looking forward to the movie tonight. This is something that could come up in a casual conversation when you're talking about your plans. Notice that it's still the same phrase, but it feels natural because it's directly connected to your experiences.
Let's take it a step further. Try, I'm looking forward to our meeting next week. This one works well for professional contexts, making the phrase more versatile. You can easily incorporate it into work or study conversations. Again, it's the same phrase, just adjusted to fit the situation.
You can also play with different tenses. For example, I was really looking forward to that event last week. By doing this, you're not only learning the phrase, but you're also practicing how to adapt it to past, present, and future contexts. It gives you more flexibility in your language. Use.
This method works because you're not just memorizing words. You're learning how to use them in practical, everyday situations. And by practicing in different contexts, you'll start to feel more confident speaking English naturally, without overthinking every sentence.
Exactly. So remember, the goal here is to make the phrase or structure part of your daily language. Don't just repeat, it's about integrating it into conversations and adapting it to your own experiences. This is how smart learning works in action.
Now that we've seen how learning smart works in practice, let's talk about the benefits. First off, by using techniques like context-based learning, you're going to start retaining language much more effectively. It's not about memorizing isolated words, it's about understanding how to use them naturally.
That's right. When you learn smart, you're also reducing the mental load. You don't need to translate everything in your head before speaking. The more you practice this way, the more English becomes second nature. It'll feel less like studying and more like just living in English.
Another huge benefit is confidence. The more you practice using phrases in different contexts, the more confident you'll feel when speaking. You'll stop worrying about making mistakes and start enjoying the conversation. It's about building fluency, not perfection.
Exactly. And it also helps with speed. When you're used to using language in a practical way, you can think and respond faster. You won't have to pause and translate words in your head anymore. Instead, you'll just speak naturally and fluidly, which is the real goal of language learning.
Plus, it's way more enjoyable. No one likes doing repetitive drills all the time, right? But when you're practicing in real contexts that are relevant to your life, it becomes much more interesting and fun. You actually start to look forward to your learning sessions.
And the best part is, you'll start to see real progress. It might seem slow at first, but over time, you'll realize just how much your English has improved. You'll be able to have conversations more easily, understand movies and shows better, and feel comfortable in social situations.
Learning smart is also sustainable. Instead of burning yourself out with hours of study, you're using shorter, more focused sessions. This way, you can maintain your progress over the long term without feeling exhausted or overwhelmed.
So, to sum up, The benefits of learning smart are confidence, faster responses, more enjoyment, better retention, and long-term sustainability. It's about working smarter, not harder, and seeing real results that make you feel good about your progress.
Now that we've covered the theory, let's dive into the step-by-step process to start learning SMART. First, identify what's most important to your English goals. Are you looking to improve your speaking, listening, vocabulary, or all of the above? Knowing this will help you focus your efforts on what matters most.
Once you've identified your goal, the next step is to find practical ways to use English in real situations. This means listening to podcasts, watching TV shows or movies in English, and having conversations with friends or online language partners. These activities will immerse you in the language and provide real-world context.
After that, you should start practicing with the phrases and structures we've discussed. Pick a few key phrases that you'd like to incorporate into your everyday language. Then, use them in your conversations as often as possible, adapting them to different situations, just like we did in the demonstration.
And don't forget about repetition. It's not enough to use a phrase once and move on. Repeating it in different contexts helps to reinforce the language in your brain. The more often you use it, the more natural it will feel to say in conversation.
Next, keep track of the new phrases and structures you've learned. I suggest making a quick note in your phone or keeping a small notebook where you write down useful phrases and words. This will serve as a reference for when you need it, and it also allows you to review and refresh your memory.
Another key step is to focus on the areas you struggle with. If you find certain structures or phrases difficult, don't shy away from them. Practice them regularly, and try to find ways to make them part of your routine. This targeted practice will help you overcome challenges more quickly.
The next step is to measure your progress. Set small, achievable goals, like being able to hold a 5-minute conversation in English without pausing to think too much. Celebrate those small victories. Each one means you're one step closer to fluency.
Finally, stay consistent. Learning smart doesn't mean learning less. It means learning efficiently. Even if you only have a few minutes a day, make it count by practicing in the smartest way possible. Over time, those minutes add up, and you'll see major improvement.
As we move forward, it's important to talk about some common mistakes learners make when trying to learn smart. One of the biggest mistakes is focusing too much on grammar rules. While grammar is important, it's easy to get caught up in perfecting every rule, instead of actually practicing speaking and using language in real contexts.
Exactly. Another mistake is not practicing enough with native materials. Sometimes learners rely too much on textbooks or language apps, which can feel disconnected from real-life conversations. You need to expose yourself to authentic English, like listening to podcasts, watching shows, and reading articles in English. This will help you hear and understand how language is used naturally.
And don't forget about overloading yourself with too much information. Trying to learn everything at once can overwhelm you. Focus on a few key phrases or skills at a time and really master them before moving on. Progress comes when you take things step by step, not when you rush through everything.
Right. Another common error is not speaking enough. A lot of learners are afraid to make mistakes, so they avoid speaking altogether. But you can't improve your speaking skills without actually speaking. Mistakes are a part of the learning process, and the more you practice, the more confident and fluent you'll become.
Another mistake is failing to review and revise regularly. You might learn a phrase or structure once, but if you don't keep using it, you'll forget it. That's why repetition is key. Reviewing and practicing frequently helps solidify your learning and makes the language stick in your mind.
And here's one more. Not being patient with yourself. Language learning is a journey, and it takes time. If you expect quick results and get discouraged when things don't happen fast enough, it can be hard to stay motivated. Be patient and trust the process. You're making progress even when it doesn't feel like it.
The last mistake we want to mention is the fear of speaking too much or too little. Finding the right balance is important. It's okay to make mistakes as you speak, and it's equally important not to stay silent because of fear. Speak as much as you can, and over time, you'll find your rhythm.
So, to avoid these mistakes, focus on real-world practice. Don't rush, review regularly, embrace speaking, be patient, and keep learning at a comfortable pace. With these strategies, you'll be well on your way to mastering English in the smartest way possible.
Now, it's time to put what we've learned into action. We have a challenge for you. Over the next week, pick one new phrase or structure you want to master. Use it at least 5 times every day in different contexts. It could be a simple phrase like, "I'm looking forward to it," or something you've learned from today's episode.
And here's the twist. Try to use it in at least one conversation with a friend, a classmate, or even someone online. The more you practice with real people, the more confident you'll become. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on using the phrase naturally.
We challenge you to go beyond your comfort zone. If you're shy or feel hesitant, push yourself a little further each day. Start with a simple sentence, then try to make it more complex as you get more comfortable. The key is consistency and gradual improvement.
Also, try recording yourself. It might feel weird at first, but recording helps you hear how you sound and identify areas for improvement. Plus, it's great to listen to your progress over time. You'll be surprised at how much you improve when you listen back and notice changes.
The next part of the challenge is to keep a journal of your practice. Write down the phrases you've learned, the situations where you used them, and any difficulties you encountered. This will give you a clear sense of your progress and highlight areas where you can keep improving.
And remember, it's not about perfection. The goal here is to practice, improve, and have fun. Even if you only use the phrase in one conversation that week, that's still progress. Celebrate every little step forward.
As you continue practicing, try to add more complexity. After mastering one phrase, pick another and start using it in different contexts as well. Challenge yourself to expand your vocabulary and fluency little by little, without overwhelming yourself.
So, to recap, pick a phrase, use it every day, try it in conversations, record yourself, keep a journal, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Let's make this a fun and rewarding challenge to help you build confidence and fluency in English.
So, to wrap up today's episode, we've covered a lot of ground on how to learn English smart, not hard. We talked about practical techniques, the benefits of learning in real-world contexts, and the common mistakes to avoid. Most importantly, we shared a simple, effective approach to improve your English without burning yourself out.
That's right, David. If you've made it this far, it shows that you're serious about improving your fluency. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let us know what your biggest takeaway was from today's episode. If you really want to let us know you made it to the end, write the word SMART in the comments.
Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this episode helpful, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on our next tips and strategies. We're here to help you speak English more confidently and fluently.
And remember, learning English is a journey. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and enjoy the process. We're excited to see your progress. Thanks for tuning in to Speak English Podcast. We'll see you next time.